Is it the end times, or is it merely the end of the church? I kind of threw my James Earl Jones voice at you this morning because it's coming back, and I feel good about it. Is it the end times, or is it the end of the church? This was a topic that I've been thinking about for a while. You know, the concept of the end times shows up in various different cultures. But like people say, the Mayan calendar for years, 2012 was supposed to be the end of the world in the Mayan calendar. And the second it didn't happen, it suddenly became, well, no, it was a shift in humanity at that time. They start changing their story behind the end times of the Mayans, right? Native Americans talk about the cyclical earth and how each earth cycle there's an end times. But the end times that we talk about mainly are the Christian ones. The Christian end times. When you look at the concept of end times, they're prophetic revelations that are meant to scare people into the religion. Has nothing to do with a prophecy of some future end times thousands of years later. It literally is the idea of when Revelation was specifically written. It was written about a contemporary threat of Nero, and so when you look at the idea of the end times that people are touting and talking about, it's just a tool of fear to scare people, right? But I want to talk about the concept of the end times and the end of the church. You know, over the past 20 years, Christian churches have lost over 50% of their congregations. Spirituality has grown to the point where they've discovered that, you know, most people are discovering that, you know, beautiful people are everywhere in the world, in every religion. And when you see these organizations, these structures of religion that say theirs is the only way, they eventually will peter because they'll fall away. Because what happens is they keep saying things like the end times are going to happen, and they never do. They keep saying, the second coming and all these things, and they never happen. So they make up a new story as to why. You know, I did a video a while back about the many times the world was supposed to have ended. And it's been thousands of times since the Bible was written, basically. So the question is there an end times, really coming? I don't think so. I don't think there's an end times that is specific or prophesied that is going to happen to us in our time. And I do not think it's happening now. But I am really interested in the concept that the churches are fading away because they're literally losing their congregations. And what you find in the world is people becoming more and more loving, more and more caring, and less fearful. So I don't think it's the end times that we should be talking about is the end of the churches, the end of the dividing that religion does, the end of the judgment and the condemnation that religions do of other religions, because all of them are just damaging the world. They're creating experiences of hate and division that cause violence, that cause, right now in America, we're having a big issue with anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism. In other words, people don't like the Jewish religion. So religion itself is creating this violence, this construct. I think as the world transitions and people start realizing that there are loving people in all walks of life, in all religions, and all beliefs, and you come back to the space of realizing that the religion is not the end-all be-all, the love is. And you come to that space and you realize that the more people realize that, the more people live into just loving one another and not judging one another for ridiculous reasons. Some people judge people for the color of their skin. Some people judge people for who they love and how they love. Some people judge people for what their own personal identity is. and those are just fears and anxieties and divisions. Just love one another. That was the last commandment. I leave you one commandment: love one another. Be loving, be caring, and you find that when you do that, the dogmas and doctrines of religions fall away. You don't need them. Just be loving. Just live into a loving world. And that is the end of the church. Because the churches promote fear. The churches promote anxiety. It's not the end times of humanity. It's the end times of the church right now. The churches are falling away for good reason. You know, I have relatives of mine who are so high and mighty and self-righteous that they almost don't talk to me. And the reason is because I don't believe what they believe. And when I say anything that contradicts anything they say, they will attack me on social media. They'll say things to me on social media. I always go back to this. I am living a joyful, loving, happy life. They're needing to reach out and attack and judge and harm and try to bully me into a position. Who's living a happy life? Whose spirituality is working for them? I laugh every day. I joke every day. I smile every day. I treat everybody with respect, even them. But if I don't agree with them, they attack because they're the ones who are struggling with their own faith. They need to be right, and so they attack, right? That's why the religion is starting to fall. Because what's happening is the people don't like being judgmental. They don't like being fearful. They don't like judging others. They don't like not liking someone who is just another person. They don't like it, but they feel they have to because it's their religion. But people shy away from things they don't like. You know, a lot of, in Catholicism, there are so many people who consider themselves Easter, Christmas Catholics. And then they usually fall away from Easter and they go to just Christmas Catholics. Well, the interesting thing about that is, why do they do that? Because they like the Christmas Mass. They don't like all the rest of it, right? It's just the Mass. It's the ceremony that they like at Christmas. They fall away from all the things they don't like, which is the rest of the year. And when you realize, if you were truly listening to what the Bible says Jeshua said, greater works than I have done you will do. It is your faith that heals you. The kingdom of heaven is within you. Well, if the kingdom of heaven is within you, you don't need to go to a church because the kingdom of heaven is within you. Church is within you. Your experience of God is within you. Exhale. Feel that sensation of just resting in the arms of God at the bottom of every breath you take, because that is your church. That is the place where you connect and commune with God. My mom, I asked her one time why she became so Catholic. She said because she had her first out-of-body experience during a Mass. So for her, it was a religious experience. But then over the years, she was like, I had an out-of-body experience, right? It was her experience. It wasn't the church's experience. It was her experience. She had an experience. And when you come to that space of realizing that you are having the experiences, and the experiences are what you choose. I choose to feel my connection to God. I choose to subjugate myself to the doctrines of the church. Those are both choices, and they both give results, and those results are joyful and easy, or judgmental and harsh. But it's really the end of the church, because people don't like being judgmental and harsh. And so is it the end times? No. Is it the end of the church? I think it is. I think the church is fading away, and I think that's one of the greatest things that could happen for humanity. And that's my belief. So I'm not asking you to take my belief. I'm not asking you to believe anything I say. I'm sharing my truth. And if it rings true to you, then let me know. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.